How are we doing, YouTube and crypto, Twitter? Cobra Trading here for Aedge Capital. I know I haven't really been around. I did a video on Friday last week and I ended up getting more sick after that. So I missed the video on Monday. So without further ado, let's go ahead, get right into the video after a word from our sponsors. Okay, starting with the weekly here, definitely bearish, right? If you weren't bearish before, you're definitely bearish now. We had our top here, which consisted of a spinning top, and then we got a doji, followed by this week, and we just had this massive bearish bar. We dropped from about 99.65 all the way down to where we're at now, so about $1,000 in a week. So definitely bearish, right? Looking at some of our indicators here. On the weekly, we do have, when this bar closes, we'll have a confirmed bearish cross on our MACD, and it's looking like on our momentum oscillator here, it's looking like the zero line. We might pop above it, but I do definitely think we're going to see maybe a little pop temporarily, some kind of bounce, and we're going to continue downwards for more downside. So I think that this zero line is going to act more as resistance than it is anything else. If we come down to a daily chart, you can definitely see how the momentum is just really bearish, right? We keep getting, on these little pops, we keep getting them followed up by bearish engulfing candles. We had a little pop here, bearish engulfing. We had a pop here, bearish engulfing. We had a pop here, bearish engulfing. And the same thing is happening here. We had a little doji. Now we're getting another bearish engulfing candle. So definitely not looking too good. On the daily chart, we've definitely crossed into bearish territory on our momentum oscillator here. And we're definitely below the threshold on our MACD, and we're getting another bearish cross in the bearish territory, which signifies a continuation of the trend. So taking a look at our Ichimoku, this is what I've been watching very closely, right? We were kind of bouncing in between our 100 EMA. First, we used our 50 EMA as support. That broke 2 days ago. We closed below our 100 EMA, tested the 200, and tested above the 100 EMA. That didn't work. And now on this candle, on this daily close, I'm definitely going to be extremely bearish if we close below our Kijun-sen and we close below our 200 moving average, which is our yellow line. So definitely two key levels that I'm looking at very closely here, but all in all, it's definitely telling of what's going to be happening. We're at a very thin area of the cloud here, so I definitely expect us to be, if we do come below this, it's going to be quick and it's going to be violent, and it would probably happen within one candle or so. On the 4-hour chart, we're well below all of these indicators. We're well below the Tenkan-sen, the Kijun-sen. Our 50 and our 200 EMA has crossed bearishly, even though that we had a pop here. We got this bearish cross here. Some people call this a death cross, but on the 4-hour chart, it's really just a cross. Normally, you're only going to call that a death cross if you see it on the weekly or the daily chart, but even still, again, as you can see, we got a pop here. Now we're looking like we're going to get another bearish engulfing candle. We're getting a bearish cross on our MACD. That's going to be confirmed in about an hour and a half when this candle closes. And we have been absolutely struggling to get into normal territory on our RSI. So there's one thing that I noticed that leads me to think that we are going to get a bounce here. Can you spot it? Okay, if you were able to spot it, then you already know what I'm about to do. I have it drawn already. So we're getting bullish divergence, right? We're getting higher lows on our RSI. We're getting lower lows in our price. So this could be one of two things. This could be either a extremely short fourth wave, and now we're coming in for a wave 5. And this is like a 1, 2, and then we're coming in for a 3, 4, 5 to complete it. Or we're going to see a bounce here, and we're going to be ending up retesting these zones between about 9,000 and 9,200, which is the bottom of this resistance level. So I do want to get into a little bit of Elliott wave theory today. I did update my count, and these are definitely the levels that I'm expecting here. So I am expecting a golden pocket somewhere in this zone here is pretty much where I'm looking. You know, anywhere from about 8,000 to, 7,700 or so, somewhere in this zone, I think would be a really healthy retracement. Like I said, actually, let me go back up to a 4 hour real quick. I did re-modify this count. I do have this as a wave 1 now. I really still don't like this as a wave 1 because this really, even on this 4 hour time frame, it really just looks like a 1, 2, 3 to me. So I still really don't like this as a 1, but in terms of everything else, this ends up working out very well. We've got our WXY into a 2. We've got our 5 waves up into our 3, an ABC down into a 4. And then we've got our last 5 waves up to complete our 5th. And now we're looking at this massive ABC wave to correct to come down to our golden pocket of the entire trend. Now, looking at a 1 hour chart here, this is the count that I think is most probable at this point. Is we had our 5, and then we had our 5 wave sequence down into an A, ABC into a B, and now we're getting this next 5 wave sequence down to complete our C wave. So the way that I see this playing out is, like I said before, there is the possibility for us to have some kind of bounce on this. And right now, in terms of a wave 4, this would pretty much be an A, B, and then we would be coming in for a C somewhere up here, and that would either be basically be a flat correction, or potentially some kind of expanded flat. I'm leaning more towards the expanded flat, and that we would see something like this. We would see something like this, and that pretty much lines up with where my targets are. And then obviously, if this was to break down, then, we'd be coming up for our 4, and then we would be making a huge, huge dip. I mean, at least on the 1 hour chart, it looks huge, but it's really not that big for Bitcoin, down to about this golden pocket, this 8,000 area. So anywhere between 7,700 and 8.2 is definitely where I'm looking at for this to end. Nothing says that this couldn't be our wave 4. So this expanded flat, nothing says that absolutely has to happen. In fact, this could be our 3 waves into a 4. You can see very clearly that this separates into 3 waves. You've got an A, B, C. So this definitely looks to me like we could end up, maybe this is our wave 5, and we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're starting our 5th wave here, and we're going to end somewhere around 8,200. So we could have our 4th wave completed, but I would normally 4th waves are much longer than that. Normally they're expanded and they're flat and they're complex. So I would be expecting at least a flat correction here to retest this 382 level one more time before coming back down. We've only really tested these levels once or twice in each direction. So we've really only tested the 382 once. We've really only tested the 0.5. Technically, we've only tested it one time. These other wicks down here never actually crossed the threshold of the 0.5. So we've really only tested the 382 and the 0.5 range here one time in either direction, which leads me to think that we're probably going to be ranging in this area between about 8,500 and 9,000, probably over the weekend as volume drops off. Yeah, let's go ahead and look at our CME futures chart and see if there's any gaps that would cause us to jump down that quickly. In terms of larger gaps, I'm really not seeing that much, but I definitely would like to see on the CME chart this level right here. And it actually goes back as far as here, is pretty darn important. This little zone in here is pretty freaking important, right? You know, we tapped it here. It acted as support and resistance here, support here. So this is actually a pretty good range of where I would expect our bottom to actually be, again, between you know, around 8,000, between 7,700 and, you know, about 8,200. So obviously on the CME chart, the price would be a little bit higher, which is why it's at about 83. That's pretty much what I'm looking at. I know that the count looks a little funky on the daily chart, but again, on the 4-hour chart, this makes a hell of a lot more sense. So definitely the area that I'm targeting here. And with that, I hope that you all have a very good weekend. And make sure that you check us out on the Aedge Twitter, twitter.com/aedge.official. Make sure that you check us out there. Make sure that you're liking and following our content so that you get all of our YouTube updates and stuff like that. Make sure that you're liked and subscribed to our channel. If you're not very active on Twitter, you can still get the notifications on YouTube for when we come out with new videos and stuff like that. And I think on Monday, we're going to be making an announcement. We're going to have a special announcement of some new products that Aedge is going to be offering. So make sure that you keep an eye out for all of that stuff, as we're always looking to further develop our group and come out with better products, both for education and for trading as time goes on, to keep developing our platform for our customers. If you're interested in joining our platform and getting specialized education as well as signals, not only for Bitcoin and alts, but also for commodities as well as foreign exchange signals, we do those as well. Make sure that you check out our website at www.aedge.org. That's AEDGE.org. And you can see all of our pricing and information for that stuff. All of this stuff is listed and all the links are in our description below. And make sure that you're checking out the DueDEX exchange. They just added the ETH pairing. They've got that awesome risk management calculator, which is really, really awesome to use. Pretty much, it doesn't automate your trading, but it pretty much takes all the guesswork out of where to set a stop loss and all of that stuff. It's really, really unique, and I haven't seen any other exchange that has a tool like that. Have a good weekend. Don't stare at the charts constantly. Bitcoin's price is going to do what Bitcoin's price does, and I will see you guys on Monday. Take it easy.